welcome back to the Director's Garage. I am your host and resident idiot, Michael, and today we're going to take an in-depth look into a headphone sent to me by one of our viewers. But he's not just a viewer, he's also a scientist. Yeah, science, bitch! So John Massaria has been modding headphones for quite a while. He creates these 3D printed inserts that reroute and rebalance the sound to give you a better take on a headphone that otherwise sounds kind of on the cheaper side of things. And that's just what he did with this headphone right here, the HifiMan HE-R7DX. Yeah, we got to work on that name, guys. Okay, let's start this breakdown with ergonomics. And what a breakdown it is. The headband forged from your very best closet hanger with enough spring to shoot your neighbor's kid at 100 yards with a P. Yeah, these things are spring-sational. And you'd think all that clamp would equate to something unbearable, and you'd only be about half right because they clamp up top first, and that kind of spares the rest of your head. The material isn't all that bad. This is kind of leathery-like kind of substance, but the ear pads themselves are a hybrid design. Yeah, it's plasticky, pleathery bullshit on the outside, but the contact patch is all fabric. That's kind of nice enough. The cups themselves are plastic, as you'd expect at this price point, but they do score with the detachable cables. So you kind of get a mixed bag. These do get tiresome on your head after about 40 minutes, but let's get into the sound. Now I'm going to heap some praise on these in the imaging department. These really keep things separated out quite nicely, and they present instruments across a nice specific place around your head. These really impressed me. Now the Soundstage is actually fairly decent. Well, it's not terribly wide. These have an intimacy to them that works on the right tracks. Don't expect anything crazy wide, but these do a reasonable job for a low-cost pair of closed-backs. And they even surprised me here and there with things like decay that kind of came from a place further out from the rest of the stage. Now, the first area where these things start showing some weakness is in the detail. These aren't terribly sharp, and I did hear congestion from time to time when things kind of got a little globby. There is an airiness to the sound, which I can kind of get behind, but overall, there's kind of a lack of detail. That said, I wouldn't expect flagship class detail out of a headphone that costs a little north of $200. And these things definitely are on the slower side of life. I can say that acoustic guitars can sound quite nice with a decent shimmer, even if they aren't the most precise. Country music, though, is kind of a standout on these. Now, the next area was really kind of a surprise to me. I'm going to talk about dynamics, and I expected these to have a lot of punch. It's kind of typical of headphones in this price range. They're usually pretty punchy, and these were really flat to me. I was listening to Hugh Masekela's The Coltrane, which is a track loaded with punch and impact, and these stayed nearly completely neutral. Even when I pushed the volume up, I couldn't make them like punch me at all. They lack the pop and the punch of other headphones in their class. So we've got some good and we've got some less than good in the sound properties. Now let's get into sound structure. And you know we're talking about bass, mids, and treble. And you guessed it, it's gonna be in that order today. And we're starting with the bass, and the bass is well represented on this headphone in the mix, but there's not a lot of detail. It is just kind of a muddy fill across the bottom end. On a song with string bass, it comes across as bloomy. The bass is plentiful, but it's lacking precision and a punch that I would like to hear down low. Now, things clear up considerably when we get to the mids. Vocals are really nice on these, particularly female vocals. Really solid, well represented. There's a slight honk, though, somewhere around 3 to 4K, but it's a niggle, really. These mids are pretty solid. And that, of course, leaves treble. And on that point, it's a case of saving the best for last, because what these headphones achieve in the treble department is impressive. There is a clarity here, even if it's not the end game in detail. It's one of the better tuned trebles I've heard at any price. And it's important not to discount this, because treble is the hardest thing to get right on a headphone. It's the thing that will immediately turn a listener off. A bad tuned treble, it just is shouty, it's bright, and you can't listen very long. And it's a testament to John's skill and ability that he was able to pull such a nice, beautiful treble out of this headphone. Time to check in with some music, and I want to call your attention to an album by Junior Wells. It's called Hoodoo Man Blues, and it's one of his many collabs with guitarist Buddy Guy. One of the finest blues albums of the 1960s. It's essential Chicago electric blues. Fantastic acoustics on this one, and I want to talk about the smoky blues number In the Wee Wee Hours. Junior's vocals are recorded up close on the mic. He's right on it, and the HE-R7DX really pops his singing out of the mix. It's brilliant. The image and soundstage are terrific. The decay is phenomenal. You're right up close on the band. Slow, intimate Chicago blues at its best. And Buddy's guitar is unmistakable. On early pressings, they gave him a pseudonym. Delmark, the label, thought that Buddy was still under contract with Chess Records. So now I'm going to take that soulful blues and I'm going to blow it up. I'm going to the jungle for Axl Rose and Slash's over-the-top metal assault, Appetite for Destruction. I know! But these headphones are good for a romp, and I like the image and the assault of one of the best metal albums of the 1980s on this headphone. Such a dangerous and aggressive recording. It was a pretty good time on the HifiMan. Guns N' Roses never came close to the greatness of Appetite in the albums and the internal band tumult that followed. But in 1987, there wasn't a more exciting or bigger band on the planet. And I'm going to finish on the soft side of life. I'm going to go to the other extreme with Carly Simon and No Secrets. It's a soft rock masterpiece from 1972. It features the classic You're So Vain with the uncredited vocal by Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones. Mick happened to be in the studio that day, and he kind of had a thing for Carly. He came in the studio, and the rest is history. But check out the title track, We Have No Secrets. The acoustic guitar work really shines, and on the HE-R7DX's imaging and outstanding treble performance, it really is amazing. Top-notch listen on this headphone. So what about this HE-R7DX? Well, I'll be honest, I'm hating the ergos on this thing. The springy spring that cups right on your ears. They give you this almost on-ear effect more than an over-ear. Sound-wise, they're pretty nice overall, especially given the price. John has done amazing things with what he had to work with. The treble is nicely tamed, and they don't get bright at all, even if they are maybe a little veiled here and there. The mids are solid despite a very slight honk. These things excel in the vocal department. The bass is nicely present, but it does carry too much bloom for my taste. It's just not very precise. But I can recommend these at just over $200. I just hope John takes some of his knowledge and applies it to a headphone that's built better. And I gotta confess, I even have a headphone in mind for him, and that would be this one right here, the Odyssey LCD XC closed back edition. This is a great build and a phenomenal headphone with amazing technical performance, and really what it needs is to get the treble region controlled. And if John could apply his knowledge to this headphone, I think he could make these the best closed-back headphone on the market. So I'm kind of challenging you, John. Take this one on. But there is one more thing. this thing, to be exact. Okay, I have no idea what's in this box. John just sent these to me and told me to have a listen. Now, he may have told me what this is. I honestly don't remember, though. I don't even know what I had for lunch today. So let's dig in and let's check it out together. What do you say?
What's in the box?
All right, digging into the John Masseria mystery box. What do you think he sent us? I have no idea, man. This is going to be really cool. I really am excited to see what it is he sent our way. And did you check out the wrapping on these? Look at all these bands here. Guns N' Roses, we just featured them today. Motley Crue, Scorpions, Ramones. This is serious shit here, man. John, you did a good job on the packing. I'm very impressed with this. All right. And I think he did a pretty good job with the taping. I'm having a hard time getting through all these layers. It's pretty good. All right, I think I got it. Are you ready? Are you ready? Foam? Well, there is some gold writing on this thing. I don't know what it is, though. All right, let's see what it is. We got ourselves an HE-R9. Now, I have this headphone in my collection already, so it's kind of cool. He did some work on these. I want to see what it is he did. So let's just pull this off. We've seen these before. I did this unboxing on the show. And, the JM edition, it gets its own little card. Very cool, very cool. HE-R9. And here they are. Now, you already know that I've told you that I think that these are a little heavier than mine. I told you that the Bluetooth module is not the way to go on these, and I stand by that even today. They sound much better if they're cabled, and that's what John sent our way, the cabled version. Pretty standard stuff here. You've got this wide cup, again, an autograph from him. Don't you love it when an artist signs his work? But again, you've got this kind of hinky build here. I'm not thrilled with this HifiMan build. Their cheaper stuff is just not up to par for me, and that's unfortunate. But this is a headphone that I appreciate, and I actually gave quite a favorable review to. So what do you say we wire these things up and head into a director's garage sound impression? All right, checking out the John Masseria HE-R9. I'm super excited. We're going to get this started with Are You Experienced, Jimi Hendrix, and Hey Joe. Ooh, nice. The Soundstage is improved right off the bat. The little checks on the strings, the kind of percussive chunk, seems to be coming from a little further out. The drums are hitting from a little farther out, and then Jimmy's like more up close and personal. This is a really nice soundstage and image on this. The bass is still really big, and that's the one thing that was sort of the signature of the original HE-R9 that I had. And in that regard, it's still there. I need to get it into some different, more bass-centric tracks, although there's plenty of bass on this, and to be able to tell if there's been a big change in the bass department. These feel a little more reined in on the upper end. Definitely, I'm noticing a big spatial difference. All right, I'm going to go over to my Los Lobos and Kiko track, Dreamin' Blue. Now, this will tell me a lot about what's happening in the bass. And it's still deep, and it's still all there. This is a bass cannon. Now, there is a little bit of peakiness in these on the R9. And that's all gone here. Yeah, these are a darker experience than the original HE-R9. He pulled some of the clarity out. I don't know if that's the way I would go with these. Okay, I can see what he's going for. He's trying to unite the sound a little bit more. And in that regard, it's a success, but he may have gone a little too far on the treble end because the sparkle that these had across the top seems to be missing now. All right. And I'm going to go to something harder. I'm going to go to the Scorpions. I don't know, polar opposite here. But I'm going to go to the Zoo off of Animal Magnetism. This is a great track. It's a really driving track. Man, you want to get your headbanger's ball on, this is the way to go. Scorpions, the Zoo, it's jamming out. You got all that bass just driving this thing. The bass is punching like hard. The kick drums are just banging into your head. This is a good time. So I tried some stuff when we started. I'm going to pause for a second. Hang on a second. I started by trying to find some stuff that was more like technically sophisticated and like more rarer air. And then I went to just some fun old rock and roll, and these things lit up. So I think that I found a better niche for what he was going for. The stuff that was sophisticated, I was like, well, it's kind of like it's missing a little bit off the top end. And then you go to something like this, and it's like, man, just rock out with your socks out, and you're going to do fine on these. This is a fun ride. This makes me want to go just find all my favorite old tracks from the 80s, man, and just jam. This is great. And he's tuned them dark enough on the top end to where there's nothing piercing or annoying. You can turn these up. Here I was trying to be all sophisticated like, and that's not what this is about. This is about having fun and rocking out. I love it. And the soundstage is really fun. These really, that's the one thing. As I'm going through this, and I'm sorry I'm shouting. I've got scorpions just blasting through my skull right now. But that's the one thing that I think is becoming the signature of the John Masseria modded headphones is he really perfects the image and the soundstage. That much is the way this is behaving in the image and the soundstage is really impressive. Now that's what he's really, to me, changing the most. I think he shaved a little bit of the treble off of this, which is helping in some of the brightness area. You can really turn these up. At the same time, I think he took a little too much off for more acoustic music that like presents sparkle at the top, triangles and things. You know, prog rock probably not going to do so well in these. But some of the stuff that's just harder edge and really gritty and going for it, this is a great listen. Let's go to some Zeppelin while we're here. I mean, why not? Let's go to A Song Remains the Same. So this is the remaster of Song Remains the Same. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is totally where this lane is for this headphone. It's rock. Anything hard. This is great. And, you know, there's all these high-pitched page guitars and pedal tones and stuff, and that's where these just pull that back a little bit. You can just jam out with these things. They're fantastic. It's a good time. Rush, Zeppelin, AC/DC, any of the metal bands from the 80s, Quiet Riot. I love Quiet Riot. It's a blast. And I was promising you guys on the live show I'm going to get into more harder stuff. Well, this is a headphone that invites it. Going to finish up with a Van Halen number. I'm going to go off of Women and Children first. I'm going to listen to Everybody Wants Some, which is just this crazy ass, fun, hard jungle rhythm, and then Eddie going nuts on top of it. And this is great. I can tell already. Hey, you can hear Michael Anthony's bass, his runs. You got David screaming across the top. Eddie is like at about 11 o'clock, 11:30, and he's just screeching runs on his... It's just awesome. This is so fun. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to stop. Now, we figured these out. I'm going to stop this right there. Man, what a great listen. What a great listen. I had started out with this kind of like, well, maybe this will be that, like, he's refined these, and these are going to, there's just a heavy bass, heavy headphone to begin with that, I had a good time with. I actually enjoyed them, and I've been using these at work, the stock version, and even using some of the Bluetooth, because I'm just using it to cut pieces. I'm not using it for, I need a quiet headphone for work that's Bluetooth. These fit that bill. And so I thought, well, maybe he refined these and he brought out their nuance. And I'm like, no. He accentuated what they were doing great. He found more bass. He found cleaner bass. He found better Soundstage. He found a way to make these more fun than they already are. And that's a great thing. So, that's the John Masseria edition of the Director's Garage. We've had 2 really good experiences with these. For just over $200, he did some really nice things with this headphone, and this one he made way more fun. This is just a good time and a romp, and I can't help but recommend it. I mean, it's like, if you're going to go this way, this is a great way to hear it, because he's expanded the Soundstage out and made it a really good time. Okay, I want to thank John for sending both of these headphones out my way. Now I'm going to send him back to him, because the poor guy's been waiting for months to get his headphones out. And it's just, I can't get these episodes out right now because of all the different things going on in my world. But I do want to thank him, and really his considerable efforts on these headphones shows. And I just hope that this episode was worth the wait. And I want to thank you again, John. And don't forget about my Odyssey request. Okay, so can I recommend either of these headphones? I can recommend them both, because John took, kind of an average mid-tier, lower-tier headphone, and he made something good and listenable out of them. And they're interesting, and they've got great sound stages, and he tweaked stuff that, you probably would have taken for granted or ignored, and now it's something that's a standout on both of these headphones. So, and this is just, frankly, a really good time. Now, next up, I'm going to be digging into a what's in the box that I accidentally opened. Oopsie. It's a headphone sent to us from our fine friends at Audio 46. It was supposed to be a blind unboxing, and I broke it open thinking that it was something else. Still, it's a headphone that has gotten a lot of praise around the industry, and I did not listen to them. So we'll be doing the live sound impression just as we normally would, and so make sure you're subscribed to the Director's Garage so you don't miss any of that action. I want to thank you for spending a few minutes of your day here. Give this episode a thumbs up if you enjoyed our dive into the world of John Masseria, or you can do the other thing if you'd rather see me on the business end of a steamroller. I can't say I blame you either way, but I will see you before you know it.